Hello, I'm the Amazing Atheist, and today's video is about rape. Well, let's pull it back a minute. This Thursday I was thinking about doing a video called the four kinds of people who can get away with rape. Something along those lines. Probably try to shorten the title a little bit. But that was the basic concept of the video. I was going to talk about four different groups of people that I've noticed are pretty much always going to get away with the crime of rape. And the more I did research for the video, the more I kept stumbling upon this term of rape culture. And it's not the first time I've stumbled upon the term. You really kind of see it all over the place, especially if you frequent websites where modern day feminists like to hang out. As opposed to websites where, like, you know, women's suffragists from the 1920s hang out. Various places. One of the places they like to hang out is a site called Rational Wiki, which is where I got this pretty good definition of rape culture. And I feel like I need to address this rape culture thing before I can make tomorrow's video, which will be about the four people who can get away with rape. All right, let's get through this. This is gonna be a long video, but it's important. I ask that you watch the whole thing. This is the definition of rape culture from Rational Wiki. Rape culture refers to the ways in which a society and its culture trivializes, rationalizes, and even condones this vicious act of violence despite being nominally against rape in abstract. So you can see that Rational Wiki is kind of like the Ministry of Peace from 1984 in that their name has jack shit to do with what they actually are. They are not a force for rationality. They're a force for extreme bias. And I'm going to demonstrate that because they have here a list of what rape culture involves. And I'm going to go through this list and talk about these items one by one for your enjoyment and my amusement. And I think before we get started, we should clarify something, though. A lot of times when you make a video that even addresses rape, and you don't totally concede every single point to the feminist, their trump card is, well, you're a rape apologist, you're a rape supporter, you agree with rape. So I'm just going to put it out there that rape is a heinous and horrible crime, and anyone who can be demonstrated beyond a reasonable doubt to have committed rape, whether they be a man, a woman, whatever, they should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. So I am not nominally against rape. I am completely against rape. I view it as one of the worst crimes there is. And now we're going to get to this list. This is what rape culture involves from Rational Wiki. The first item on their list is how forms of rape that don't conform to a, and then in parentheses it says, in itself deeply offensive and sexist, specific set of standards aren't as important as those that do. I'm sorry, by the way, that this is very poorly written. I'm not responsible for the writing. I'm just reading it. That is, if the rape doesn't involve male strangers on younger female victim, penile vaginal penetration with a large degree of force, and it's not real rape and can be downplayed or apologized for as necessary. Now, I mean, what they're basically saying here is that, you know, there's a very narrow definition of rape as far as society is concerned, and it involves, you know, the man who or men who forcibly, you know, like pin down a woman, maybe at knife point or gun point, and just, you know, have brutal, non-consensual sex with her. And that, you know, and that is our definition of rape. And anything lesser than that, we can just dismiss as, well, that's not real rape. You know, it's not like the guy had a fucking gun to her head or something. You know, that does happen. And that is despicable. But to some extent, it's really not any different how we treat other crimes. Like, for instance, let's look at two rape scenarios. The first scenario is the guy, you know, jumps out of the fucking bushes, or he's been hiding in her closet, and he jumps out and he grabs her, and he's got a knife or he's got a gun, and he does the most extreme form of rape, the fucking the rape by anyone's definition, basically. He commits that crime. And then in another instance, we have the fucking teenage couple in the car, and things get hot and heavy, and it's consensual, and then he goes to have sex with her, and she says no, but he keeps going. Now, are both of those things wrong? Yes. Are both of them rape? In my opinion, yes. Are both of them punishable by law? Yes. Yes, they should be punishable by law. However, are they equally wrong? Are they equally bad? I don't think so. And that's the same way we would treat, say, a murder case. If, the guy had been waiting in a closet for someone else to come home, let's say it's another man. If a man is waiting in your closet and you come home and he comes out and he shoots you or stabs you with premeditation, like he was waiting there to kill you, we treat that very differently than we would if you and that man had gotten into a fight somewhere and he had accidentally killed you. We look at things like, what was the motive? Was this a premeditated crime? Was this done in cold blood? We take those things into consideration. And the reason we take those things into consideration is because most of us don't like to yield to a completely black and white view of the world where every action is either totally good or totally bad. We believe that there is a gradient. We believe there is a scale. And that badness happens by degrees. So all rape is bad, obviously. But not all rape is equally bad. And if you don't agree with that, I'm willing to entertain argument. Bring it forth. You could possibly change my mind. I used to be a conservative libertarian. Now I'm a progressive independent. And the reason that I made that change was partially because I was exposed to different arguments from different people, and I ultimately found those arguments persuasive. So if you disagree with what I just said, please bring your argument forth, and I might retract the statement at some point in the future. The second item on the rape culture involves bullet point list found on Rational Wiki is: related to the above, very naked and hateful blaming of the victim if the victim was shown to be out of line at any point. Once the well is poisoned, rape can be pushed into the gray area before being denied entirely. Even if a rape victim actually does meet the standards for sympathy, the implication is that the rapist's transgression against traditional values and polite society was more important than the actual act of violence done to the victim. Look, I can totally understand why this would be upsetting. Because you have someone who has been through a terrible ordeal, and their story is basically being torn apart, and people are trying to discredit them. People are trying to make them look like they're liars. But you have to understand that when a crime has been committed, it's the responsibility of the defense attorney of the accused to use everything at his disposal to see that his client goes free. That's his job. And the reason that's his job is because that is how our trial system works. If there was a murder case and there was eyewitness testimony in a murder case, that defense attorney is going to try to undermine the witnesses for the prosecution. That's part of trial by jury. It's part of innocent until proven guilty. And it seems to me like when you read the rhetoric of a lot of feminists on the internet, they want, in cases of rape, to throw away innocent until proven guilty. Their attitude is, well, it's better for some men to be falsely accused and to just go to prison because we just believe the victim or the alleged victim, no matter what, than it is for any rapist to go free. The problem with prosecuting rape is that so often It's just one person's word against another person's word, and there's a total absence of any physical evidence to support either side of the story. So, if you were actually rational wiki, you would realize that the only thing you can really do in that situation is say, I don't know what happened. I don't know if she's telling the truth or he's telling the truth. I don't know who's telling the truth in this instance, because I have no evidence to support either person's claim. But I understand the reason why that doesn't sit right with you, because that's why so many people can get away with rape. Because it's a crime that all too often there's no evidence to support one side over the other. And that's just a tragedy of circumstance. That's not a situation manufactured by us. So unless you have some magical fourth option other than admitting you don't know, always believing the alleged victim, always believing the alleged perpetrator, if you don't have the magic fourth option, then shut the fuck up. Whitewashing the perpetrator. They can be direct excuses such as he's a man, she was leading him on, he couldn't help it, or more indirect ones like if you don't want to be prison raped, don't go to prison. Now, I agree that this does happen. There are a lot of cases where excuses are made for perpetrators of rape, and that is reprehensible. But is that really an indictment of our entire culture? Is it really everyone saying that? Is that attitude so culturally prevalent that it's hard to find someone who disagrees with it? I don't believe so. Next item. The downplay and ignoring of warning signs that often precede rape, such as sexual harassment, sexual humiliation, non-coital sexual assault, such as unwanted breast or ass grabbing, and the objectification and othering of victims by rape apologists. I was the victim of sexual harassment in office. There was a woman there who continuously made very aggressive passes at me, who one time stuck her hands down my butt pockets, basically, the pockets in the back of my pants, and she stuck her hands in there and started grabbing my ass. And, it was just people, and people were around, everyone was laughing, and I was very uncomfortable. But there was no one I could go to. Why? Because I was a man. Now, if I had grabbed her ass, I'd have been slapped with a harassment lawsuit. I probably would have been fired from that job. People would have said, what the fuck is wrong with you? But because it was a woman and I was a man, it was okay. It was laughed about. It was accepted, even though I was clearly uncomfortable. And in fact, because I was clearly uncomfortable, the rumor started that I was gay. People said, oh, well, he must be gay because he wasn't into that. What the fuck are you talking about, you assholes? Just because I don't want some woman that I'm not attracted to grabbing my ass, that must mean I'm fucking gay? So I guess ultimately I agree with this, that it's wrong that that's downplayed, but I think that it's actually most downplayed when the victim is male and the perpetrator is female. So I'm just going to add that as a little addendum to your list. Next item, eroticization and romanticization. I'm sweating like a fucking pig here. Eroticization and romanticization of rape in popular culture without showing the negative side effects or at least implying a heavy degree of due diligence from the audience. All right, what the fuck are you talking about? I need examples of this shit. Because I can think of exactly one movie I've ever seen where a rapist was portrayed sympathetically. It was an old Clint Eastwood movie where the first thing he does, he goes into town and he rapes a woman. And he's the hero of the movie. And I remember watching this movie and just being like, what the fuck? Like, it was weird, because I'm a big Clint Eastwood fan, and I just felt like really uncomfortable. Like, why is Clint Eastwood raping this woman? And then later on in the movie, it turns out that he is the reincarnation of some guy who had been betrayed in this town previously. Maybe not the reincarnation, but he's like an angel that comes back as fucking Clint Eastwood to kick these people's asses. And she betrayed him in that previous time, so the rape was like a revenge rape. And it still made me feel uncomfortable, but then I'm like, well, wait a minute, but Clint Eastwood also shot like 50 dudes. So why am I okay with him shooting 50 dudes for revenge, but I'm not okay with him raping one woman for revenge? So it kind of made me question myself there. And it's really because we are conditioned to find rape more reprehensible even than murder, especially in fiction. And that's why I think you can have shows about Hannibal Lecter, a cannibal. You can have shows about Dexter, a serial killer. You can have shows like The Sopranos about mobsters. You can have shows about hitmen. But I've never seen a show like, hey, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have a very sympathetic serial rapist. That show would never, ever happen. The closest thing you see in popular culture is there are scenes where it's clear that there's a sexual angle between two people and the male is the dominant party and the female is the submissive party. But that is not the same thing as rape. Okay? And I speak as a submissive. Because I'm not into the whole idea of dominating some woman or dominating my partner. I like to be the one being dominated. Partially because I'm expected to control so much in my day-to-day life. There's so many things that I have to preside over that I don't really want any more control in the bedroom or in that aspect of my life. So I understand as a submissive who happens to be male that the dynamic being played out in these popular entertainment formats is not rape. Giving someone control because that's what you want is not the same thing as them taking control from you. All right? Now, maybe there are some areas where the lines get a little blurry, where, maybe they kind of flirt with that edge a little bit, but that's just to titillate the audience. They're not condoning rape in any way, shape, or form. But by the way, even if there were like a lot of depictions of rape in mainstream culture and they were done in such a way that it romanticized rape, even if that were the case, it would only be because that's part of human beings. They would only put that on the screen if that's what people wanted to see. And honestly, don't you think that art is the place to express those emotions? Where it's pretend, where no one can actually get hurt? Isn't that the appropriate venue for those feelings? All right, we're almost done. I know this has been an extremely long video. Those of you who are still with me, I very much appreciate you sticking around. The urban legend that women don't want sex and must be encouraged to have sex played out in the old joke, "No, don't stop! No, don't stop!" Okay, listen to me. Listen to the sweaty fat man on this one. Everyone is different. Some women really do want to be pursued in that way. Okay? That's just reality. You don't like it, I'm sorry, but it is what it is. And some women do not want that at all. And it's usually pretty clear which is which. And for the guys for whom it isn't clear, those motherfuckers are just assholes, all right? There's nothing we can do about them. There's nothing we can fucking do to magically remove all the assholes from the world. I wish we could. If there was a button that I could press that would send all the assholes to Mars, I wouldn't want to kill them because it's not really their fault that they're assholes. But send them all to Mars, give them a shitty colony, they can live out their lives in assholedom where they all just treat each other like shit for the rest of fucking eternity. But unfortunately that button does not exist, so we have to deal with assholes. Assholes who maybe don't know where the lines are. But you know what? The lines are different for every fucking person. And I know the reason that feminists don't like that is because it's a gray area. They hate gray areas when it comes to rape. I'm sorry, but gray areas exist in every human endeavor, whether they're convenient for you or not. Believe me, there are plenty of areas in my life where I'd just like to say, fuck it, there's no gray area. I'm just right, or they're just wrong, or whatever. But I can't fucking just declare that. I mean, I could, but I'd look like a fucking idiot. And you look like fucking idiots when you act like there's no gray area. Only two more left. The second to last one. Overplaying incidents of false or politically motivated accusations in order to create a cloud of doubt over all crime incidents. While there will always be some scumbags who make false accusations of any kind of crime, one gets the impression that false rape accusations get so much more attention in order to preemptively shame anyone without an ironclad case to silence. This can create a chilling effect on rape victims who don't want to be accused of lying or subject to the media circus afterwards. Once again, this is just innocent until proven guilty. You know, and the reason rape accusations are so despised is not just because we want to shame rape victims or something. And the reason that rape accusations are so despised is not because we want to shame victims, but because it literally destroys people's lives to accuse them of rape. So if you accuse someone of rape when they didn't actually commit the crime of rape, that is a morally reprehensible act. You know, if you accuse someone of murder, people will just be like, well, that's probably not true. But if a woman accuses a man of rape, it is taken seriously. They do get a shitty reputation in that community. Unless, of course, they're a football player, but we'll get to that in the next video. This is the last one. Allowing a rapist to sue for custody. This is legal in 31 states and usually used by defense attorneys to get reduced sentence for the rapist. If you reduce his sentence, we won't sue for custody of any children, but it still happens and the rapists really do sue for custody and sometimes they win. Obviously, that's disgusting. No one fucking supports that, except, of course, the defense attorneys who use it to get their clients off. But that's understandable. That's their defense attorneys. That's their fucking job. Do everything in your power to see that your client is not convicted of the crime. That is how our justice system works. The prosecutor is doing everything in his power or her power to see that the person is convicted. The defense attorney is doing everything in his or her power to see that the person is not convicted. That's how our criminal justice system works. Now, these laws on the books, it's not like anyone wrote a law that says rapists can sue for custody. It's not like that law. There's no one fucking put that law down in the books. What this is an oversight. It says the father can sue for custody, and no one even fucking thought, like, well, what if the father was a rapist? No one thought that because it was so fucking crazy that it never even entered their fucking minds. Now, obviously, that should be added to these 31 states that still have that problem. And this is an issue and it should be resolved. But is it indicative of rape culture? In my opinion, no. And once again, if you disagree with anything I said in this video, if you think I'm wrong, please do not come to me with insults. Do not come to me and tell me I'm a rape apologist and a rape supporter, because I'm not. Come to me with a fucking argument. Tell me in detail why I'm wrong, because I just told you in detail why I'm right. But my beliefs are not a big solid mountain that cannot be broken down. My beliefs are malleable. I am open to discussion. I am open to changing my fucking mind. So please, give me the proper fucking respect of presenting me with an argument. You know what? If you want to fucking hate me, if you want to insult me, fine. Put that in there too. Call me a rape apologist, call me a rape supporter, call me a neckbeard, call me a fucking micro-penis, micro-brain, fucking mongoloid, idiot, male, fucking supremacist asshole if you want to. It's not true. Well, except for maybe the micro-penis part of it. It's not a micro-penis. It's pretty small. I mean, it's like 4.5 inches hard, but that's no big deal. Whatever. We're not even talking about that right now. What we're talking about is don't fucking bring your ad hominem bullshit to me. I want a fucking debate. I want a discussion. I want you to fucking prove me wrong. I want you to show me that I'm an idiot who doesn't know what I'm talking about, because that will get me closer to the truth. But if all you can bring is your fucking name calling and your aspersions, then that just tells me you have no argument. You have no case to make. All you have is bullshit. So basically, feminists who disagree with me on this, put up or shut up. There is no rape culture. Prove me wrong.